Hey, everyone. Welcome to yet another interview here on the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Today, I will be speaking with lovely and talented MaryLeigh Roohan. But first, we take care of a little bit of business here. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine. You can go to pplmag.com, Pittsburgh's first internet, radio, TV network, and online community magazine and business directory. You definitely want to check that out. It's a great place for a lot of resources on all kinds of different subjects. And if you're in business, it's definitely the place you want to be to get promoted and get seen. Also, I'd like to thank MTS Management Group. MTS Management is more than just an artist management company. It's a bona fide rock star in the music industry, specializing in full-service artist management, publicity and promotions, and social media campaigns. MTS Management is on the cutting edge of today's new music business. Okay, without further ado, as I said, we have MaryLeigh Roohan with us today. MaryLeigh Roohan has perfected her alternative Americana style in songwriting over the years. Her songs have connected with listeners on a deep level, and it's earned her fans throughout the country. Dark, sultry vocals and blues-infused guitar accompaniment have met the perfect pairing on MaryLeigh's latest effort. Her new EP, Living Alone, delves into dark depths and issues that so many have gone through. Her poignant lyrics touch on many topics, yet breathe fluidity as one cohesive piece. Her single, My Friends, blends together a soulful alternative rock sound with the Americana-influenced storytelling that MaryLeigh has been recognized for on her previous releases. Hello, everyone. Please welcome MaryLeigh Roohan to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. MaryLeigh, it's good to have you here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So you are a relatively young artist, just a few records under your belt. How did you get started in music?
Well, it all started, I guess, one lonely winter break in high school for me. I guess like all high schoolers, maybe not now, but when I was in high school, thought that like being in a band would be cool or learning guitar was cool. So one winter break, all my friends were like traveling for the holidays, and I was just like so alone in my room. And my mom had a bunch of classical guitars lying around the house, and I decided that it would be a productive way to spend my time to teach myself guitar. So it all started there, and then I kind of stuck with it. I was really bad when I was teaching myself, but I stuck with it and was fortunate enough to receive a lot of encouragement along the way, and have just been doing it ever since. And that was when I was like 15, so almost 10 years at this point, which is kind of crazy.
Well, in those early days, did you start out? Did you get into like wanting to write songs right away, or did that come a little bit later?
Well, my first performance was at a like school talent show, in which I sung an original song, but it wasn't a like serious song. It was like a joke song. So
what was it called? What was it called? You have to remember.
It was called I'm a Loser, and basically, it's definitely my dad's favorite song. He requests it all the time, but I haven't played it in years and years. But basically, the premise is that I'm this like weirdo who's so weird that her parents end up writing her a note and telling her that they've abandoned her because she's just such a lame-o.
Oh my God.
I won the talent show, which was pretty crazy. But again, like it wasn't because of my skill. I think I just won over the crowd with a little bit of
you
laughter.
Charmed them.
Yeah.
Okay, so so when did you you spent some time at Caffe Lena a little bit later on, and this is where you sort of like kind of really developed, if I understand your bio correctly. Now, Caffe Lena, for people that don't know, is a pretty famous folk venue, and the most famous person that had a residency there was Robert Zimmerman, a.k.a., of course, Bob Dylan. So you were like in good company there. Tell us a little bit about your time there at Caffe Lena.
Well, I didn't start playing the open mic until I was like 17. I didn't. I definitely didn't feel like I could go and play until I had a little more to show for it as far as my skills on guitar were concerned. And that was like the first venue in which I sung a serious original song. And I became a regular there, and the community that is at Caffe Lena is a very astoundingly like special in so many ways. There's like this green room that everybody who's been there for a while will go in the back and like talk while people are sometimes playing and tune up. And I was definitely one of the younger regulars and was brought into the older like community and kind of educated in a very loving way about how I could improve, or like it was just a really lovely experience to have and very beneficial as far as how I thought about songwriting and different ideas on how I can start songs or refine them. So Caffe Lena was definitely integral to my like trajectory, and that experience was crucial.
Right, I would imagine so. It's been crucial for a lot of people to spend time there. Now, I'm trying to get the timeline right. Was it after Caffe Lena that you went to Scotland?
Yeah.
Now, what precipitated the trip to Scotland, and what? Tell us a little bit about that.
I really wanted to. Sorry, I'm recovering from a little bit of a cough. I really was eager to take a year off before going to college, and travel the world and stuff. And my parents are very much about alternative forms of like learning, and they were very supportive of the idea of me traveling and seeing the world, but they said that the only way that they would let me do that is if I were in some way like affiliated with an institution. So they suggested that I take, maybe like one course at a university so that I'd have a network to fall back on, or reach out to in case I had a problem, so that I wasn't just like an American floating around Europe.
Yeah, that's actually pretty smart. Yeah, that makes sense.
They're pretty good. They're pretty smart people. They think a lot.
Obviously.
But that kind of just like, I'm in a lot of ways an all or nothing kind of person. So what I ended up doing was I just ended up applying as a full-time student to St. Andrews University, and I ended up getting accepted. And my initial plan was to finish my degree there, but I ended up only going for my first year and taking a year off and like figuring out what I wanted to do after that. But school essentially is what school and like Wanderlust together brought me to Scotland, and got me like my weekly pub gig, my first like legitimate paying gig. Which
neat.
is pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool. And so you were there for about a year.
Yeah.
Now, what did you do when you come back? When did you cut Skin and Bones? Because that's the release before Living Alone. Living Alone, right? I'm saying the names right over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. The Skin and Bone was released in 2013, which was also the year I ended up graduating from college. But when I was taking my year off after my first year of school in Scotland, I actually took time to like record a record, which was my first record called The Dock. And that was in 2011. So I was still traveling a lot. Like, we recorded that album in New Orleans and partly in Saratoga Springs, New York. But Skin and Bone came out 2 years after The Duck. and then 2 years before the new EP, which is out now.
What's the now you dove into this thing at 15 with playing guitar and starting to write some songs. You take this sort of educational journey at Caffe Lena. You go to Scotland, and you've got 3 records under your belt. What kind of growth have you seen as a songwriter, specifically from Skin and Bones to your new record?
I think that I've been like trying to consider that a lot lately, and also in terms of like where I want to go moving forward. And I think the biggest difference between Skin and Bone and Living Alone is that Living Alone is a lot less apologetic in terms of how the content is delivered. A good example would be in Skin and Bone, there's a song called Coward, in which I basically confess how my insecurities and like self-deprecation kind of like fuel my inability to commit and like find like lasting and fulfilling relationships. But this song is incredibly poppy and like sounds like a very happy song when in fact the content is pretty depressing.
Okay.
And Living Alone, as much as I don't want to make it sound like it's a downer album because it doesn't drag or anything like that, but I think the method in which the content and the themes are delivered are a lot more serious, and they create a more sober tone for the listener. I also put a lot more effort into lyrics for the EP. I didn't want to put any like cushioning I didn't want to make an LP like a full record for the sake of making a full length. Like I really wanted each song to be selected for lyrical content and like sophistication, as well as like fitting a larger theme. So I think there were a lot more choices, like deliberate thematic choices in Living Alone, whereas Skin and Bone, although it was like it's a really fun record and it was fun to make, it felt more like a compilation of themes as opposed to like a solid
right. I understand what you mean. So Skin and Bones is like kind of like, okay, these are a bunch of songs I've written, they're pretty good, and I'm going to put them on a record. Whereas Living Alone is more focused. These are the sort of themes I want to deal with. This is the overall. You sort of had a plan in your mind of the overall sound you wanted to kind of go for. Is that correct then, to say it that way?
Definitely, and I think definitely, absolutely, and I think you can hear on Skin and Bone there's a lot of experimentation, which is cool. But I definitely like the like thread throughout Living Alone.
Yeah.
So that I think those would be the main differences.
And as artists, we want to try as many different things as possible, and it's Skin and Bones is that's a totally legitimate approach. I mean, it's not like and Living Alone, that's a totally legitimate approach too. And in the next record, you might decide throw all that out and do something, approach it completely different. So that's the fun thing about being an artist, is you can kind of like say, well, there's so many different ways I can do it. I'll do a record like this. I'll do a record like that. Why not? It's my record.
Yeah, and I think that's like the other great thing about making music today is that I really do have the liberty to make those choices as like a DIY artist, and not having to, I guess, I really realized with the EP that I didn't owe anybody anything. Like I didn't owe anyone a candy-coated delivery of a somber theme. So I think that kind of opened up a lot of doors for me. I'm excited to make the next record, but I'm also really pleased with this new step.
Of course. Of course. Now, who worked with you on Living Alone?
There were quite a few people. Jason Brown produced the record. He also produced Skin and Bone. But the difference this time was we decided to do the record almost entirely live. So I had a really amazing band made up of James Gascoigne, who played bass guitar, Chris Carey, who was on drums, and Mike O'Donnell, who played lead guitar. And we all got into the studio and essentially recorded all of the instrumentals in one day, which is amazing. And they're fantastic musicians and also just some of the most lovely people you could go to dinner with. They're really awesome. So we had a lot of fun. And I also had Erin McKeown contribute some keys for like after we recorded all of the live stuff, and she was actually really helpful in some of the songwriting process as well. We lived like a few hours away from each other, and I would go over to her house and like bounce my ideas off of her, and she would help take me in like the right direction or ask the right questions that led to the right answers, I suppose. And then my friend Olivia Twilio, who is a singer-songwriter in Albany, sang on the last track of the EP, which is pretty cool. So I guess it's not that many people now that I'm thinking about it. It's not like 20 people. It's a lower number.
It's less than 20. Okay. So the music business can be all consuming. It can really just, it can be like your whole life.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you like to do? Do you ever have a time when you're not doing music, and what do you kind of like to do, or when you're not doing music?
I have so many interests that it's almost like it's crazy. I have a dog, so I love training my dog. I just got her like 3 months ago, and we've been working on like all sorts of weird tricks, like
okay.
playing.
What kind of dog do you have?
She is a rescue. Her name's Gigi. She came with a name. She looks more like a Martha to me, but Gigi gets stuff. She's like a Whippet Labrador mix.
Okay.
She's really cuddly, and so I like training her. I also love, like, I was just in New York, and I love going to the Brooklyn Museum and checking out. I love art. I was an art history student when I was in college, and I also am. My father. I grew up, and he built pretty much every house that we lived in. He is like very into revitalizing and making over houses. So I also help him do that when I'm not playing guitar and hanging out with my dog. So I was doing demolition a few weeks ago, which was pretty fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of outside interest, and you do get to pursue some of this. That's fantastic, because that adds to the whole. When you come back to the creative process too, I think you're richer. You have more to offer, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. And like it's helpful for me to just be exposed to so many. I mean, like people who work construction and people who like to go to art museums. That sort of thing usually attracts like different people. So. To have all those different people in my life is really cool. And I don't know. I'm also pretty social, so I like talking and hearing about people's stories and stuff like that. So definitely invaluable for sure.
So you really have 3 records now completely like under your belt. And Living Alone was just released a couple months ago. What would you, for you're a young artist, independent, for what would you consider success in the music business just for yourself? Or do you feel like you're done? You've I'm it. You've arrived. Maybe
yeah,
you feel
I'm
that
here.
way.
I'm here. I think that like success for me is an ever-evolving definition, and it's wonderful to be in a place in my life where I get to define that for myself.
Of course.
So it's changing all the time, but today I would say that sustainability is success in my mind, and probably like heaven or paradise would be just like having the freedom to collaborate and perform with the people that I want to perform with and collaborate with.
Who are some of that brings up a good point, and you can maybe interject this here. Speaking of that, who would be like some of your heroes or influences or whatever? You just rattle off a couple, 3, whatever.
Well, influences, I mean, I was like a huge Joni Mitchell fan in high school. Like Blue was literally the soundtrack to all of my bus rides to school. I was just listening to that record over and over again. But I would also like, her guitar playing was really difficult for me to learn at the time, so I would just play like Weezer songs. Like I have a lot of weird influences. And I'm really happy to have like shared the stage with like most of the people who I've been fortunate enough to support. Like I was able to open for Erin McKeown the last time I was in Pittsburgh, and Chris Pureka and Melissa Ferrick, Sean Rowe, all like I already feel like I'm just like living the dream in so many ways that sometimes I'm like, who are you?
Good for you.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's anybody who I would be like, no, they're not, like, I'm not into that. I'm very much a music lover as much as I'm a lover of making music. So anyone. Like I'm up for anything, I guess. It's a good way to say it.
I gotcha. So what can people expect when they come to a MaryLeigh Roohan show?
What can they expect?
What can they expect? Are you touring with a band, or are you just a solo? I mean, I haven't seen you play live yet. I'm going to see you play live in a few days, but I haven't seen you yet.
Awesome. I will be playing solo. I try to play with a band as much as I can, but logistically it usually works out that I can only do that when I'm playing shows in my hometown. So you're in store for a single lady with a guitar singing into a microphone and trying to make you laugh in between some like deep thematic songwriting. So it won't be like a total. I always get so nervous that my songs are too sad or whatever. But I'm not a sad, sorry person. Like I really enjoy life and connecting with people. So I try to do that I try to just like create an intimate space where everyone can like be present and hopefully like not on their cell phones.
I gotcha. So what's coming up? What's next? Is there anything you'd like to plug here before we wrap up?
I would love if listeners were interested to check out the EP. That's like what's on my immediate horizon right now is just hoping people check it out, listen to it, and enjoy listening to it. But I'm also going to be touring after I play Pittsburgh. I'm going on to Chicago and Madison and Minneapolis, and then I'll be touring again in the spring. I'm a really bad plugger of things, so check it out.
Well, you do have a website. People can catch up with you at MaryLeigh Music. That's spelled LEIGH, MaryLeighMusic.com, and you can check out everything that MaryLeigh Roohan's got going on there. It's a very cool record, and no, it is not depressing. Just for the listeners out there, and you can, as you heard here, MaryLeigh is a very upbeat person, and we had some good laughs and everything throughout the whole thing here. So I don't think nobody's going to be opening any veins or anything anytime soon with this. So
okay, cool.
I don't think you have to worry about that. Hang on a minute here, MaryLeigh. It was really good talking to you. Hang on a minute. I need to take care of a little business and end the recording, and then we'll couple things after we're done here. Okay, just hang with me.
Yeah,
all right, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Just 1 minute. All right, guys, you've been listening to my talk here with MaryLeigh Roohan. You can go to MaryLeighMusic.com to catch up with her and find out everything she's got going on. I'm not sure when this interview is airing, but she will be in the Pittsburgh area. She's on. She plays everywhere, so please go to her website to check that out. Once again, thanks our sponsors, Positively Pittsburgh Live. That is pplmag.com. Pittsburgh's first online internet radio and TV network business directory. And don't forget to visit, if you're an artist or you're just looking to hear some cool music, check out mtsmanagementgroup.com. Michael Stover and Company do a lot to promote their own artists. They're a music publicity house and management company, so check them out at mtsmanagementgroup.com. Guys, thank you so much. You can catch up with Loudini Rock and Roll Circus and all the interviews we're doing at LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com, and we will catch you next time. Thanks so much for listening.